being grateful is a huge part of being successful. Because if you are grateful, you are happy. If you are grateful, you're not greedy. And I think most of the people live in this country, they're not grateful being an American.
Today I get the pleasure to sit with Ali Abdelaziz. And Ali is one of the most important, you might be the biggest manager of MMA talent, or I hear rumor that you might be the biggest or at least most important manager of MMA talent, like for the UFC folks and other fighting organizations.
I get the pleasure to serve some of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah.
My Rasta are the best guys in the world, and maybe we can say that.
Would you mind sharing with them some of the names they might be familiar with that you are managing?
I manage Kamaru Usman, Henry Cejudo, Justin Gaethje, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Beneil Dariush, Islam Makhachev, Kayla Harrison, Vicente Luque, Gilbert Burns, Bilal Muhammad, still Marlon Moraes, Cody Garbrandt, just Omar Nurmagomedov. The list go on.
Bilal's my homie. Bilal and I flew here on the same flight together, and he's been to my home before. We've trained together before.
He's a good guy. He's here training with Khabib and his guys.
Yeah, he told me that. His flight got canceled, and we ended up on the same flight together, and on the way over here. But he's been to my place a couple times, and I'll see him again in the future. But yeah, Bilal's a great guy. I hope he has he's already done fantastic, but I hope he continues.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Man. Yeah. When I talk about with my clients mostly, they want to hear about success stories, and they don't want to hear the internet version of you just use the secret or manifest some bullshit. But what does it really take to build that sort of a roster in terms of building your reputation, or the things that happen behind the scenes to have that sort of reputation that some of the biggest names in the world want to come and work with you?
I think helping me to come from a quarter level judo competition and moving to the Olympic training center in Colorado Springs and living the American dream, and because I never thought anything was possible for me I can do. When I moved to the U.S., I was never a big dreamer, but I always have a dream, and I really started dreaming. And I've been a martial artist since I'm 5 years old. I have a couple professional fights. I'm not the best fighter in the world, but I love the sport, and I will do it for free. This is what people do understand and motivate me every day. I wake up, and a lot of my hard work and dedication because I understand the suffering, the dedication, the hard work these athletes they go through. And I really, if they can work this hard in the gym, why cannot work outside the gym to make them very successful, have a lot of money, and me too, because their success come from my success. It cannot just be me successful and I'm not successful. I think it's go together. And that's about it, man. Just a passion, pure passion, loyalty. Just keep it clean. With all my clients, and I never manage someone I didn't really like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really manage people I don't get a like or get the feeling of they might betrayed me, or listen, it haven't happened. It might happen in fight business, but it's really I'm grateful to do what I do.
A couple things you said that they're going to think sounds familiar for me, that I don't even take clients that I don't like myself. Even somebody's trying to give you money, but they don't have the right fit, not the right personality, or I see they're not serious about their own goals. They want to make me responsible for their success, but they don't want to do the things that they're going to have to do to create that success. So I turned down a lot of money in the short term, and I think it's a lot better for my long term, that I don't need to be running the business that I do. I make enough money from my investments. I don't have to work anymore. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. So from that, for me, my current business is for fun, is for building a great social network. I get to meet interesting people, get to speak with interesting people, both in my client side and also people that I meet to do interviews like we are, or some of the other fighters or other athletes or other successful people that I've been around. I think it's very important what you said. You shouldn't be working with people that you don't like. You shouldn't be working with people that you can't trust.
It's become toxic, because if you really work with someone just for financial interest, it's never gonna last. Because at the end of the day, it's always somebody bigger and better, There's always somebody there gonna tell you they are bigger and better. But in reality, just people are selfish, But I think if somebody who is loyal and keep their word as a man or as a human being, you can trust them. And if you work with someone you don't really like, how are you gonna go wake up every day 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, put the work and really put everything on the line for them, right? It's gonna be very, very difficult to be not passionate about the person you wanna help. And if you're not gonna like someone, there's no way you can be passionate about them. It's impossible.
I think that's fantastic. I totally agree. I talk with my clients a lot that if you want to have lasting relationships, if you want a high quality relationship with another person, I say first you have to have similar values, that you have a mutual respect, a mutual trust, that you don't have to agree about everything, but there has to be that loyalty or trust and mutual respect, that you're not going to fuck each other over and do little stupid things that the humans do to each other. And then number two, you have to have mutual goals. So now you trust each other. If you and I can rely on each other, you're not going to screw me, I'm not going to screw you, we're going to do good. And now we have a similar goal that both of us we're here, we want to go there. And then to the third part is if we have differentiated skill sets. Some things you're going to be better at some things, I'm going to be better at some things. Yeah. And if I can help you and you can help me, that we're both doing better and getting closer to that goal, we're going to be good friends.
Yeah, like if you talk about guys like, Henry Cejudo, Khabib, or Kamaru, this is an elite athlete, elite athlete. This is what they do all their life when they're 5 years old. They compete in everything they did, from a NCAA champion, from an Olympic gold medalist as Henry, from a Sampo world champion, this kind of, or Kayla Harrison, 2-time Olympic champion. These people, they wanted to be the best, and I think they deserve the best, They deserve the best, not only talking, because a lot of people talking about, I can do this for you, I can do this for you, I can do for you. It's about like, I think is the best way to make this kind of people happy, because they're really confident, they already accomplish everything they want to do. They want just to feel under promise, over deliver. Like you cannot over deliver to people. And many, my colleague or managers or agent, whatever, they will over promise things to guys to just make sure they'll get with them. But when they get with them, fighters, they're not stupid. They're some of the smartest people on this planet. They're really smart people. To become a champion in MMA or a UFC or something like that, you have to be intelligent. It's different than boxing, It's not like a success story from the hood. A guy made it, and no, these guys, they're all college educated, or they travel the world, they meet different people, and they understand game, and their job is to give high performance in the gym and fights. And my job is, to try to maximize that to the best I can, but things I'm capable of doing, right? And it's sometimes hard because, negotiations or, money, and, at the end of the day, I think fighter, underpaid for all the hard work and dedication they do. I think fighter should pay a lot more than they're getting paid now, I think we are going slowly up, but not fast enough, I think guys, like when you look at boxing, guys making so much money, they can even hold a shoe for the MMA guys, these guys making big numbers, But I think the sport is evolving, and I think guys making more money. And I think at one point, main event will make $10 million, but the time is not now, but the time is gonna come, because I think if you pay me $10 million as a fighter, because fighter, they think very highly of themselves, and they should, because especially if they're a champion. If you give me $10 million today, I said, hey, I want 20. If you give me 20, I say I want 30. And this is the nature of the beast, that's the nature of the game. People always want more. And I'm not calling that greedy, but especially with fighters, because they put so much work, travel away from their family, kids, body, getting punched in the head, brain trauma, body trauma. And I think, nobody can ever tell a fighter, you're not worth it as much, because they can never be them. You can never, if I can never be you, I cannot tell you what you are worth. I think everybody they know what they're worth.
Yeah, you know the industry extremely well, and it's my perception. I don't know that business inside and out, but I know business very, very well. I spent my whole life in business. I made my first money as an entrepreneur when I was 7. and I'm almost 43, so more than 35 years I'm thinking about money and making money, running businesses. It looks to me, and again, you know more about it, it looks to me when I look at the UFC or MMA organizations in general, that a lot of fans that used to be excited about boxing, a lot more people are becoming excited about UFC and the fighting, the MMA games. And I have a great boxing coach. I have a lot of respect for my boxing coach, fantastic man. I don't watch boxing. I want that skill set. I want that striking skill set from a former world champion, multi-time world champion. So I love training with him. Paulie Malignaggi works on boxing with me. And I love training with him, but I never watch boxing. Mm-hmm. But I go to the fights all the time. I go to the UFC fights all the time, and I really enjoy it. I think a lot of other people are, I think what I'm saying is that sport's going to grow more and more. There's going to be more money, that everybody there is going to be making more money.
Yeah, I think the way the boxing model is every fight is like they're going out of business. There's no structure, there's not promoter. Listen, you love him or hate him, Dana White is the greatest promoter of all the time. I think he's a great promoter. The UFC have a great machine, right? They have a great machine. If boxing have what the UFC have, boxing will be different. Maybe the UFC will not be as popular, but MMA is consistent. Not only boxing, you don't know guys. In the UFC, the best fight the best all the time, right? Outside McGregor, sometimes he dug guys he think he can lose to, But the best fight the best in MMA. The best do not fight the best in boxing. This is why it's so much corruption, and these people kind of ruin the business a little bit. You seeing people getting screwed over all the time in boxing, not getting paid, suing each other, and MMA is barely. This is what's going on, and this is why MMA now is. I think in the LA Olympics, maybe you're going to see amateur MMA in the Olympics. I think is the rising sport, most rising sport in the world is on ESPN. It's become mainstream. You walk with Henry or Khabib or Kamaru, people asking photo with them, football players. I've been in a room with football players and guys like Henry or Kamaru or Khabib or some of these guys. People ask them for photo. They don't ask a football player for photo because they become household names, and I think fighting, it's on our DNA. Like maybe, and it's a worldwide. Like football, nobody in the Middle East know what football is, right? But in a way, everybody know how to throw. When you throw a punch, Africa, Asia, almost like the whole entire nation understand fighting, and I think it's in our DNA, right? You believe it or not, all these guys I just mentioned, they are superstar worldwide. As figure, because people, they can watch a fight and they don't understand. They don't have to understand anything about the rules or football or baseball or whatever. And this is why MMA, I think, in the next 20 years, it might be the #1 sport worldwide. I really believe that.
I think it could be. I think it could be. I think a lot of people watching football. I have friends that were football players. I have personal longtime friends that were football players. I have some acquaintances that won Super Bowl rings, and they're very famous. But when you think about football, I think a lot of people watch football as like a proxy for violence, or I think men like to see other men compete and dominate each other. But
this is fake domination. But this domination,
the MMA is the
that's
true
domination with technique and heart and it's not like a hit for 10 seconds. You have to have balls. You have to have 15 minute, 25 minute. A human being, they're not built to fight each other for 25 minutes. They break. And I think you have to, something grow up with it. You cannot learn heart. You have to have certain kind of heart, certain kind of motivation, certain kind of just a drive to become a fighter. It's just not, it's not for everybody.
How did you get started from the business side? You built a hell of a business. You have a fantastic reputation that a lot of the top fighters in the world want to work with you. How did that start? You didn't show up. You weren't born with that. You built that somehow. What is that evolution like in your entrepreneurship?
Look, I was trying to fight. I have a, and I was very mismanaged because I fought guys with 2 fights. They have 30 fights, right? And I thought like I'm always like to do something, and I really love helping people. I love helping people to achieve goals since I'm a kid, And when I come to America, and I said, you know what, I can help make my dream become true by allowing other people's dream to come true at the same time. And I was I moved with George St. Pierre to New York from New Mexico when I was training there. And I went to the Renzo Gracie gym in New York, and I started training there, and I was still fighting. And after that, I got injured. And Renzo very much asked me, hey, and I was helping guys in the gym, in the small shows, helping them for free, like all the regional show and some of the Gracie families like Gregor, Igor. And Renzo said, hey, I wanna fight in the UFC. And I was like, great, And back then my English wasn't good. It's still not good. It's not good as, to me, go to sit down with Dana White or Lorenzo Fertitta or any of these guys. And I very much, Renzo wanted me to be his manager, and realistically, he wanted to help me out, right? I did ride maybe by him or somebody in the gym. And I beginning managing Renzo Gracie, who's a living legend, without him I wouldn't be here. First meeting was was Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta. Normally, sometime manager would never even get to meet them of their whole career, right? And I met with them, and and I think Renzo have a relationship with Abu Dhabi. I think the deal was done. They just wanted to shake hands, and I was just there for Renzo really to help me out, right? Oh. And I take a lot of pride to this, and I take a lot of responsibility for this. And I also, everything I move, I don't just think of myself. I think who's the guys I represent, like Renzo Gracie, Khabib, Kamaru, Kayla, Balal. Like I have to have myself to a standard, right? Sometimes, I get crazy and get in street fights and stuff, but this is who I am. I just kind of, it's not good. I'm not saying it's good, but sometimes it's just, but in a way, I hold myself to high standards. Like the way you can never hear anyone said Ali stole from me, or Ali lied to me, or Ali robbed me. And I just honestly, I'm willing to really die for any one of my guys. If they go to war, I go to war. If something happens with their family, I want to be there for them. I don't think I ever say no to any of my athletes that ask me for anything. I don't think I ever did. And I think I'm just grateful to be where I'm at in life. As I have kids, I have a family, and I'm be able to live in a great life standard. I never thought I can live this long. I'm honestly, I grew up in a very rough environment. I never thought I can make this much money. I never thought I can have this many great friends. I never thought I will meet the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and he gave me a shout out on television. I never thought I could achieve all this thing, and I'm here now. And I'm not taking it for granted, and I'm hungry every day, and I'm really so grateful. Every day I wake up in the morning, I'm very grateful, and I never take things for granted.
When I grew up, I've been to 65, 66 countries, so I see a lot of places in the world. And the more I've gone to other countries, the more I appreciate the United States. There are a lot of people here that want to say something bad about the U.S. isn't perfect and this and that problem. It's the best place in the world. There's no place else in the world.
It's the greatest country on this planet.
It is. And I feel very privileged that I'm happy that I was born here. And I grew up in American poverty, but it was American poverty.
Yes.
It's not poverty.
Correct.
And I see the difference. I've been to Nigeria, I've been to other places, I know the difference, And, from here, my father was in prison, I grew up on welfare, my family was poor, and I really hated that. And I thought, what could I do? I got into the habit every day. What could I do to make things a little bit better? Starting when I was 7 years old. My father went away when I was 7, and he was never really around before then, but he was gone when I was 7. And every day I just think, how do I make things a little bit better? And a few things that you said that it touched my heart is, I'm not always a nice fucking guy. I don't pretend to be nicer than I am. But the same thing, nobody would ever say that I lied to them, I stole from them, that I did something fucked up like that. I haven't been in a street fight for almost 4 years, by the way, so I hope that keeps going. I hope the ticker keeps going. But, to build the relationships that I had, so many things happened that was not supposed to happen to come from a place where I came from, and then do the things that I did. That there's years I've made, tens of millions of dollars, plural, in single years now. There's times that, with some of the most famous people in the world, and many of them are in my phone. It's a phone call or a text, or they're hanging out at my house privately. They're flying to me to come hang out together, And what you said about that is, I never thought I would make so much money. I went to the best schools. I made for graduate school. I went to the #1 school out of 416 in my country for business school. And when I was young, I felt hopeless. And I think this is maybe something you might share your perspective on is, when I was a kid, I just felt hopeless that I could not see a path that went from where I was to, I'm going to have $100 million soon, net worth, to have the people around me that I have around me, and to be doing some of the things that I've done in my life. I could not see the path from that age. But I just had a thought in my head. I'm like, well, I could make it a little better. I could make it a little better. What else could I do today? What else could I do? What else could I do? And maybe by the time I was 20, I thought, well, you could go find $20 million or something. And maybe when I'm an old man, maybe I'd find like 20 million. And last year I made more than 20 million. So I feel but I still have that thing. I don't take days off. I work every day. I want to make my life better every day. I want to help my clients every day. And I have that passion, like you mentioned, that I'm thinking still, there's the same things that help me to create the outcomes that I have now. Like, well, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Yeah, I think honestly, I never hated being poor, because, but in a way, but also I didn't like being poor, But also, I'm obsessed being poor, because it's obsession I have, because I didn't have nice shoes. I didn't have I used to walk every day to training, 4 miles, back and forth. I had to make a choice to buy a juice or something to eat, or to take the bus, and I always choose to walk, and eat something, Listen, people said nobody go to sleep without food. This is wrong. Many nights I went to sleep without food because we was very poor. But this is not, I was never embarrassed about this. I was very motivated. It's just honestly, I'm obsessed being poor. Because if you're obsessed being poor, you're always going to be grateful for whatever you can. Because human nature are greedy. They want to have everything they want. They can. But if you obsess with being poor, you all the time in your mind you have a poor mentality. And a poor mentality, anything you will have, you appreciate. You just come back to the being grateful. Because I believe many people being grateful, people, they don't understand how grateful to be an American. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not an American, but I'm American by hard work and dedication and hold certain standards. Because I think people are. I don't understand. The American dream only exists in the United States. There's no such a thing a European dream. There's no such a thing as an African dream. The only dream that exists worldwide is the American dream, and is real. And that's why I'm so obsessed with being poor, because even if somebody did something really small for me, I'm always going to be grateful. So grateful. And I think being grateful is a huge part of being successful. Because if you are grateful, you are happy. If you are grateful, you're not greedy. If you are grateful, you don't want to steal from people. If you're grateful, you don't want to lie to people. And I think the grateful part of being in America alone, and I think most of the people live in this country, they're not grateful being an American.
Yeah.
Because, like you mentioned, you travel to six places in the world. You are grateful being in America because you see poverty, you see people, how they're living, the condition. And when you come here, you say, oh my God, I didn't know these people have lived like that.
Yeah. I think one of the best things a person could do, someone who is depressed or someone who's feeling, having a negative mindset, is to make a list of things they're grateful for. Yeah. Some things maybe they earned for themselves. Some things maybe they were fortunate they were born in the right country, or they were born with a talent or something unique and special about them. But I think that what you said about gratitude, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, maybe that's the right word, gratitude.
Grateful, same thing.
Like gratitude, and honestly, I get this also gratitude from a lot of people who are around me. I see them become very successful. Like guys like Habib, he never changed, you know. Henry never changed. Maybe Kamaru bought a couple extra Versace shoes, you know. But I see a lot of people become successful and become millionaires, but they never change. And actually, I know I'm in the right circle. I know out there go people. You know, like guys like Justin Gaethje, this guy never changed too. You know, I know so people they have so much success. You know, and there is a story about Henry Cejudo, and he's around here today. I met him, and he was, I think, 16, 17 years old at the Olympic Training Center. I was living there for judo, and he was doing wrestling, and he was, you know, trying to chase his American dreams, and he used to come to my fight, and you know, I was like a local fighter, you know, nothing big, and now I see him become an Olympic champion. I see him start MMA career, and I watching him, you know, and after that, I start working with him as representing him, and he's a guy who won an Olympic gold medal and become his friends, right? And we used to be friends. He watched my fight. Now I work for him. I represent him because all my clients, I work for them. You know, and a lot of people get it twisted. They think the manager, he's running the game. No, you're an employee, and I'm an employee. And this is how sometimes you have to check your ego. You know, you do all this interview, you get all this attention. People want to take photo with you, but in a way, you have a master. I have a master. I have two masters. I have the big master, is Allah, is God, and after that, I have the master, who, you know, put food on my children table. And this is gratitude, you know, and then also being humble and grateful, right? Because sometimes we get in this fame and a lot of this thing get the people's head. It really gets people's head very, very big, you know. Maybe, and I want to buy a nice shirt or nice shoes or something like that. But I just think being in America, being around the right people, like I cannot write it better than this, right? And that's why I'm living the dream. Yeah.
A couple of comments I'd make about that is going back to gratitude or gratefulness is very hard. You can't be depressed. Try it, folks. Make a list of 20 things you're grateful for, 20 things that are going good in your life, and see if that doesn't change your mood. If you had to write down 20 things that are, you know, I'm glad I was born here. I'm glad I have 10 fingers and 10 toes. You know, you're grateful for you know, some of the things that you've done, that you've earned for yourself. It's difficult to be depressed if you have a mindset of gratitude.
Listen, at least in America, like if you show up at the hospital, they're gonna take you in and taking care of you. But if in other country where I come from, if you show up at the hospital, don't have money, you're gonna be on the street bleeding to death. This is the reality. You know, my mother passed away, and you know, she had a liver in her cancer in her liver, and she didn't have the money. We didn't have the money, and I wasn't around at the time. I did the best I can, but she passed away. If I have the money I have now, I'll probably save their life, but I couldn't save his life because I wasn't. I couldn't, you know, because everything was in America. They have a center. If you don't have, they have Medicare. They have these things, you know. In America, you know, they have. It's just like seriously, like I see people come from the outside, different countries, and live the American dreams, and I really want to see more Americans live the American dreams because this is your own dream. You have to live it.
It's a sin to have the opportunity available here and not do something with it.
Yeah,
Is a sin. Something you mentioned about Henry when Henry and I first met. When you see Henry on TV, and sometimes he's, you know, a little mouthy or saying something, stirring the pot, stirring a little trouble on television. When Henry called me on the phone, and he's so polite, and so, you know, you hear in his voice he's a very sincere, polite person. I had the privilege to meet him and do one of these interviews with him as well, and you know, he's a fantastically hardworking person, earned everything he has in life, and he's a very nice person. Some people don't understand.
He lived the American dream. He come from, you know, almost like a broken family, like in Hispanic. He grew up in South Central, you know. He became an Olympic champion. He, you know, 2-time UFC champion. He's the greatest combative athlete for all the time. And I'm not just saying that because he's around here, but it's just the truth, and I always say it. It's never gonna happen again. It's never gonna repeat it. It's impossible to win a UFC title and go up and win two title, 25 and 35, and an Olympic gold medal, right?
And defended both of those titles.
Defended both of them and retired with both belts. He's very much said, hey, take this shit back, I'm out, you know? Nobody can. Even Khabib, I consider him the greatest fighter of all time. But Khabib, as a combat sport, you cannot even compare him with Henry. I think Henry's on a different level. Kamaru, Kayla Harrison, nobody can really even come close to that. And it's just one of one. You know, he's like one of one, but he lived the American dream. He's a product of the American dreams, right? And at such high level, it's almost impossible to be a Hispanic kid living in the ghetto and become an Olympic champion. Olympic champion or wrestlers, from the Ohio State, Oklahoma State, and go to college. This guy, he become Olympic champion out of high school. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's unreal.
Yeah. A lot of people wouldn't understand that. Fresh out of high school, and then to advance later to do the things he did. After a goal. A lot of people win. I have several people I know that were Olympians. Apollo Ono is somebody I've spent a bit of time with.
He's a friend of mine. We used to live together. Me and him and Henry, we lived together at the Olympic Training Center together.
I've spent some time with Apollo. I know Carrie Walsh well. That she's become a friend over time. The volleyball. Carrie Walsh was famous for volleyball and got 3 gold medals and a bronze. She's not happy about that bronze.
Yeah.
She's not happy about that bronze. She wants another gold. Shout out to Carrie Walsh. Riddick Bowe is another. He got his silver medal in boxing years ago. So I've seen some of these, people that won the Olympic medals.
None of them can do what Henry done. Triple C is a different.
I'm not arguing. I'm agreeing with you.
And listen, to even be in the Olympics is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of the hardest things you can do, being an Olympic champion.
The point I was getting to, there's these few names that stand out that are, Apollo has 8 medals, or Carrie won medals in 4 Olympics, etc. And, there's plenty of people that made it to the Olympics and nobody knows who they are. And they never made any real money. It's only a few people at the top that make any real money. Yeah. So I was just agreeing that for someone like Henry to have that high level accomplishment early in life, that by itself is exceptional. Yeah. And then to do the other things he's done as an adult are also exceptional.
It's gratitude, he's a guy always show gratitude. He always grateful. He always thankful. And he never changed, never changed. And this is why I say fame, money, it doesn't change people. They show you who these people are. Like say money change people. No, they just show you who they are.
Money allows you to be more of who you already were. I agree with that. Nobody understands that. I'm happy to hear you say that. Yeah. I think very few people understand that money doesn't change you. Money gives you the opportunity to be even more of exactly who you are.
Correct.
If you were an asshole before you had some money, then you can be a bigger asshole. If you were a decent person before then you're going to be able to it imposes you, it enhances exactly what you already are inside.
And honestly, I always want to make money to help people. I really want to, and I'm grateful to be in a position. I'm not like want to hold the money and maybe I'll buy like a car or a decent place to live, whatever. But I really want to make money all my life to help people who's not privileged to be helped. And it's such a great feeling. Having these guys win UFC championship belt or a PFA or whatever, it's such a great feeling. But helping somebody is not privileged enough to buy him something for the holiday or stuff like that, believe me, there's no other feeling in the world than that.
I'm not a very philanthropic person, and I'm happy to help people. I like to help people. I like to help my clients. I like to help my friends.
What's your client? What kind of business you in?
The people that come to me for help with they're people that are already doing well. Uh-huh. They want to do a lot better, so they have a good work ethic.
Like financially?
They want help with finance.
What kind of company you have?
They want to learn about this business. I started this business in 2019.
Tell me about your business.
In 18 months, I'm telling you about it right now. In 18 months, I turned that into $10 million in revenue in 18 and a half months, from zero money to 10 million, 18 and a half months. Why did I do that, or how did that happen? That's the more important part, because I help people get real world results. Because it's not, there's a lot of people on the internet that talk about business or finance, and they never did shit in finance. And the 3 topics that I teach about are entrepreneurship and real estate and global markets, mostly the stock market. Okay. And each one of those areas, I made over $10 million myself in real estate as an entrepreneur, and also investing in markets. So I made more than 10 million in each of those 3 areas.
Maybe you can help it.
And the more important part is I help my clients to get very good results. But I got to be picky about the clients.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I don't say this to be, I never give a shit about being famous. I have very big social media followings. I couldn't give a shit about being famous. I don't like most people. I don't want to be friends with everybody. I don't. I like to be around people that, you know, they like themselves. They believe in themselves. They believe their future is worth investing in. When I see somebody, the charitable part for me, when I see somebody that's, I know damn well you would have the same thing. Sometimes you look at somebody and you'd be like, man, they're doing okay, but that person could do a lot better.
For sure.
If you push them in the right direction, they do a lot better. I like helping those people.
I'm in the middle of transition now. I got all this big old companies trying to buy my company. You know, like very, very. You know, I don't want to give them no credit on your show. They tried to buy my company. You know, because you know you see company like CA, they tried to get in MMA and they failed miserably. All these big companies, and I'm just doing it on my own. And I have everybody coming at me left and right, like putting a lot of money on the table, and it's very hard. It's very tempting, you know. It's too much money, and I kind of struggling right now that I should sell and stay on board, same like Dana did, or maybe try to even grow it anymore. I'm right now. I don't sign any more fighter, barely. I physically I can't. I got a great team work with me, but I'm the source. You know, the company was not gonna move in without me. If I'm not working. Nothing is gonna happen, you know, and I'm in a position right now to really grow up, to bring a strategic partner with me and really make this so much bigger, you know, like by numbers, by everything, we the biggest in the world. Like we have in the UFC alone almost 40 guys in the top 15. PFL, we have 5 world champion. Bellator, we have so many guys fighting for the title. I think this year we're gonna have three UFC champion more, you know, and I think things are going so well, and I'm grateful, but in a way like, okay, what's next, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. It's a high quality problem. So
It is.
Either way this goes is a high quality problem.
Yeah.
It's better to have these type of problems than other problems. But no, I'll go back to, you asked me, and I'll just elaborate the question of like, the reason my business is successful is a lot of the same reasons your business is successful. Like, I don't want just any client. They can't just click a button and give me money. They have to go through an interview. My team, you know, if I tell my guys, so like, if it's not clear that they should be with us, then I don't need that money. Because I think to myself, you know, somebody gives me $20,000. What am I going to buy with $20,000? It's like, it's going to pay my HOA fees for the month or something. Like, I don't need $20,000 more dollars.
Okay.
I'm happy to have $20,000. I'm half a Jew. I grew up poor. I went to business school. It's in my blood. I'm supposed to make some money, okay? But all I'm saying is I don't want the wrong money.
Every money is not good money.
If you take $20,000 from the wrong person, maybe later it's going to cause me a $200,000 problem. Correct. I don't want that problem. So I'm happy to have the right money from the right people, but I want to make sure that I can contribute to them, that they're going to be happy, they're going to say good things about me, they're going to have a good outcome. And in the short term, most people would not say, you know this, in the short term, most people would not say no to the money. And every month I'm throwing away more than $100,000 that I don't take the money because it's not from the right person.
For sure.
But if I make an extra $2 million, but it causes me a lot of troubles, it's going to cost me a lot more than $2 million next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. So it's easy to be around the right people. I can contribute to their life in a big way. Cumulatively, they're helping my life in a big way. And I really enjoy spending time with my clients. I very much enjoy spending time with my clients. I respect them. I care for them. I want them to do well. I'm losing sleep some nights thinking, how can I help them more? What else could I do for them, you know?
That's the best way. The best way.
But it's the right people. That's the key thing.
For sure.
If you have the wrong people around, you're inviting new problems in your life.
It's just bring a bad drama, bad energy, and just not make you love. The one thing that make me wake up every day, because I really truly love everyone I work with, and I do not love the drama. I do not like the bad taste in my mouth, you know. And especially in this business, like I don't do advertisement. I don't go after fighters. It's word of mouth. My fighters talk to other fighters. We
touched on this, you know, twice earlier, but the concept of gratitude. There's a lot of people on the internet. They see some little fluffy words on there about be grateful and the universe is going to help you, or the universe is going to give you everything. And in my mind, I had the most success when I worked hard. I had the most success when I wanted to learn. I wanted to educate myself. Any new project, or like, who are the best people in the world doing that? How could I earn a spot with them that they could mentor me, teach me something? I could learn from the best people. How could I make myself valuable to those people? So it would be a win-win. It would be the best use of their times to share some of their value with me. And I've always been very grateful for those opportunities, but I always earned my spot too. I always earned my way I would never ask someone for something if it wasn't a benefit to them as well, And I think some people get confused, or they don't see the connection of being grateful for the things you have and also waking up tomorrow and working even harder. And what is your perspective of that, of being grateful for everything you have, and feeling like you have enough, but then working to earn even more for yourself and the people around you?
I think gratitude, without gratitude, you can never be happy. I think gratitude result will be happiness. It will be make you want other good things for people. Because if you are happy for yourself, if you love yourself, if you're happy, you're gonna allow other people to be happy. Because if you don't have enough gratitude or enough security with who you are, you can never, it's almost like you're poisoning yourself, right? I think you should be grateful for one piece of bread. I think you should be grateful for someone who say hello to you, and I think I come from a faith, you have to be grateful for the little things. And even, listen, I know it's gonna sound a little bit crazy. I think, if you have a little bit of pain and the pain a little bit went away, I think you have to be grateful for that. And grateful is only psychologically something have to be embedded in you, and gratitude. Because if you don't have gratitude, everybody around you, you're gonna very poison them with your bad energy, because you're never gonna be happy, But I think gratitude number one things for happiness and success. You can never be successful without being happy. You can be successful, but how long you can be successful without happiness, right? And I think gratitude is an important factor in life. People don't understand how important it is. And it's always start little, and grow, and grow, and grow. And people who are grateful, they live a long time, and they influence so many people around them.
I think one more thing that you could share with the audience that they hear me talk about, but I think you're going to say very similar things, even coming from a different background. Even you and I don't know each other for long. I think you're going to say very similar things as I do. How important is it to be mindful of your reputation? If you make a promise, then you make sure you deliver on that promise.
To be honest, you can see like people on the internet, when I started doing this business, become successful, like the McGregor, and they call me a terrorist and they call me this, but people who know me, like Jake Shield, like who are friend of yours, like Kamaru Usman, like Henry Cejudo, like Khabib, like all my clients, they respect me, they respect me. And all this noise outside, the people call me names in the social media, negativity used to affect me so much. And after that, I waked up and I said, after I met President Trump, and I shook his hand and I talked to him for a little bit. And after that, I didn't know he shouted me on television. And he mentioned my name. And since this day, I never allowed anyone or any comment on internet to make me upset. I said, you know what? The greatest country in the world, he really acknowledged me and he said nice things about me. And I never allowed anyone to bring me down, put any negativity. And I always loved this country. And I love this country even more. I want to do more for this country, because guess what? He almost gave me my pride back, because people was talking about me because I was getting successful and getting bigger and bigger. And people didn't like that. Normally the business I'm in, they lawyer, people went to school, they work all the, and I just happened to me, I got lucky a little bit too. You have to be lucky in life. And I think never allowed anyone to bring me down ever again.
I've never been a hater that was doing better than me. I've never been a hater. Have you ever been hated on by somebody that was doing a lot better than you are?
No.
Yeah. I think the number one thing a hater hates is themselves.
Yes.
So people, they write me, every week, they say very nice things to me in like social media. And then, there's some people that they say, It doesn't matter what I do. If I post something, hey, I made $1 million today, and here's a screenshot, here's the proof. I say, Derek, you're fat. If one of my clients, if I do a video with a client, they say, Derek helped me make $8 million in the last year and a half, and they'll say, Derek, you're fat.
But I said I'm happy.
They see me working out with world champions, multi-time world champions, and a recent one. Michael Chandler comes to my home. He spends 3 days with me. We're training together. Maybe more than 200 times we're practicing single leg, double leg, single leg, double leg, and then they talk bad about his record, and then they talk bad. They say, Derek, you're fat. And I'm like that's what you see is like no matter what else I'm doing, I'm helping my clients, I'm helping other friends, I'm training with world champions, trying to learn a new skill set myself. Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm a world champion. I'm not. I'm just learning from high quality people. So I got the best coaches. I'm getting great results in my life in many ways. But that's the one thing they're gonna say.
Normally people have money. They buy drugs and they go party. They drink. They do a lot of bad things. But you invest your money into learning new skills. Yeah. And honestly, martial arts discipline you and make you become a better person. It allow you to get into this mind, into these people, and it really help you as a businessman. I think martial art will help you in so much, whatever you do.
I grew up around tough people that were fighting, and they were not smart people, and they were not professional fighters, but just violent people, And I don't want to. I'm not a violent person. I'm not an angry person inside. Like I'm not trying to have a fight with somebody. If somebody wants to fight with me, I'm pretty open-minded, but I'm not trying to start a fight.
Correct.
And so for me, I thought, well, this is good for me. The martial arts. I wish I started this early in life. I regret that I didn't, but I didn't have that type of family that was going to support me or put me there. I didn't come from that environment, and. It's something I was always interested about in the back of my mind. And I'm like, so I started training seriously only for like 6 months now. And, I found some of the best coaches I could possibly have in the world.
Oh, for sure.
And I never make an excuse. If we make plans, we're getting together, I never change plans. I don't show up late. I never make an excuse. If I'm sick, we're still going to go train. If something bad happened, in my business, whatever happened today, everything's on schedule, So I never ask for a shortcut. They know that I'm willing to do hard work. They see that. I'm in my 40s. I don't need these bruises on my arm, and I got bruises on my legs right now and scratches, and I don't need to do that in my 40s. But I'm learning a new skill set.
It feels good. It feels good. When you go to sleep, you feel better, and when you wake up, you become a better person.
Yeah. So I think it's good for. I agree with you that I think is good for your health long term. Is good for your confidence and your ability to protect yourself or your family or your loved ones. I agree with that too.
Discipline.
So I think I wish I started even earlier. But when to the point of someone hating on the internet about you or whatever they would say about you or whatever they would say about me, I always say that the number one thing a hater hates is themselves. If they were happy with themselves, they don't have time to say these things.
My haters, they're my number one fan. I would say that.
They are.
I've kind of switched it, and all these people talk to you and they see you, they want to take photo, they want to say something to you, and it's okay. Guess what? But also just haters. I'm grateful for haters because haters always want to keep you on your toes, and you always back in your mind, you admit it or not, you want to make your haters eat their word. And I'm the type of guy, I will make a hater all his word by working hard and being a decent human being.
I've been motivated by it a bit to the extent that I think about a hater at all. I've been motivated that I'm not going to talk shit back, or I'm not going to write them back a nasty message. I say, I'll just keep working then. Sometimes I just laugh and like, But I agree that I just keep working, or I think about that in the back of my head a little bit once in a while. Not much, but once in a while I'm saying, I'll do a little bit better. I'll do a little bit better. Ali, I appreciate you spending time. That I know you're a busy man. There's a lot of things you could be doing, and I see you. I've seen you a couple times with the fights. I saw you with the fights just yesterday. You were with Khabib and Dana. I've talked to Dana a couple times, and Dana's aware of who I am.
He's a great guy.
I have a lot of respect for him as well. I really do. Yeah. And a lot of people. He had a lot of pressure to say bad things about President Trump, and during a couple of years ago, there was a lot of pressure on him to And Dana wasn't that way. He's like, no, he was a good man to me. And
he's loyal, man. One of the
Yeah.
things, like, normally a promoter and a manager, they don't have a good relationship. But Dana's always been solid with me, and he always had my loyalty. Of course, sometimes we have to go battles over contract or fighters and stuff like that. But as a human being, he's a wonderful human being, and he's a great man, a good father, and he's just a good, solid guy.
I don't know him well yet, but we've met a couple of times, and I have a lot of respect for him and what he's done. And some people like to talk bad about him, but he looks like from the outside, from my perspective, he looks like a loyal person. He's certainly a hard-working person, certainly a smart person.
And he's a man of his word. If he told you something, he will come through, 100%.
Yeah, I respect the man. But I appreciate you spending time. I think, a couple of takeaways I'd mentioned to the audience, or a summary of what we said, I think is, take the note from Ali. It's very important. If you're not grateful for the things you already have, you're not going to get more. If you're not appreciating the things that are going well, it's hard to do even better. But if you have a mindset that you have a practice of gratitude, not in some hippie universe jibber, but just pragmatically that you're thinking, man, I'm really happy that my health is pretty good. Or even if it's not perfect, you're like, hey, at least I'm really happy that it's not even worse. I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to do things that people in other countries or people from generations before you, they never had these opportunities that you have today and I have today, that you could really do. You could advance your goals towards that American dream, to your version of that American dream. And I think a key one that it doesn't sound flashy, and people don't think about these things as like they're not trendy, flashy things to talk about, but having that gratitude, treating other people with respect. You got to screen. Some people are losers, and I don't want to spend any time around them. Some people are losers. No matter how much you help them, they would never be grateful. They would never show you respect. They just want more. I had people like this in my family. I don't speak to them anymore. But when you find other people out there that are a decent person, that are they're willing to work hard, that you have shared values of keeping your word, showing up on time, being a responsible and respectful person. There's so few people like that today that when you meet one of them, you should always invest in those relationships, in my opinion. That I'd like to have more high quality people like that around. And the more that you invest in those type of relationships and find people who have those good quality values, a good quality work ethic, the more you invest in those relationships, the more you're going to be successful, and they will too. It'll be some of the best friendships and relationships of your life. So I think gratitude, very important. Keeping your word, very important. Being a person that you have that internal confidence that as you become more successful and more famous, if somebody out there that don't know you is like that, it doesn't matter for your life, because you know who you are. You lived your life in an honorable way, and other honorable people that know you well are going to treat you with respect.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, I have a great conversation with you. Thanks for having me, and I've been looking forward to talk to you and off the phone too, and try to make me become a better businessman.
We go find some money and some more friends.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name's Elliot. I'm from Auckland, New Zealand, and I'm just giving a quick video testimonial for Moneyberg mentoring so far. So the things I've learned so far have been massively profound. So we spend first week figuring out, who we are as a person and what we want to be doing with our lives. Obviously that's the foundation. That's point one of figuring out how you want to be successful in the life. But weeks 2 and 3 have been focused essentially just around all the ways in which your brain's going to be tricking you into making faulty decision making. Logical fallacies, cognitive distortions, cognitive biases. That's what I've been learning about for the past 2 weeks. And not to blow smoke up Derek's ass, but I'd happily say this has been 2 of the most important weeks of learning I've ever had in my life. And there's been a couple clients, joke, it's not really a joke, but they've said the value of the course alone could just be easily covered in what we've done just so far. It's hard to put into words. The wrong decision making, you barely know it's even happening. I really think of it a lot like a poisonous gas where it's so insidious, but a thought really, you probably heard Derek say it in other videos, a thought is just something that leads to an action leads to an outcome, but to be engaged in the wrong thoughts, the wrong decision makings, and you really don't know that it's incorrect or not until you've gone through this process and really fleshed this out. But I really know now what Derek means when he says to be focused on the wrong things and taking the wrong actions, you actually make your life worse. So you don't see that it's happening because your brain's just always rationalizing things, but it's not until you step foot in and like break these things down, you break your decision making down in a really like logical step-by-step basis, that's when you can start, you know, making sure that you're on the right train tracks. Derek humbly says he's never seen information like this taught, and I completely agree. It's very hard to find this stuff online, let alone taught by someone who's so, you know, socially intelligent as he is, and he can just get right to the core of your own psychology and help you flesh this out. So if anyone's on the fence about, you know, joining Moneyberg mentoring, just don't hesitate, just get on the next cohort. The time's going to pass either way. You can either be involved in this new level up of thinking, or, you know, someone else will be instead, and that'll be your competition. So if you're serious, 100%, 100 out of 10, I recommend it. It is a time commitment. It is gonna be hard work. The assistants push you, as they should, but that's what you want. You want to have all this, you know, the juice squeezed out of you during this 12-week course. So yeah, don't hesitate, get on it. You'll thank yourself later.